Today's special Sunday night emergency edition of the Bill Simmons podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network, brought to you by ZipRecruiter. You know it's not smart? Playing it safe, playing not to lose when Aaron Rodgers is on the other side with one leg. You know what else isn't smart? Job sites that overwhelm you with tons of the wrong resumes. Luckily, there's a smart way at ZipRecruiter.com/BS, rated number one by employers in the U.S. based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with at least 1,000 reviews. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. That is ZipRecruiter.com/BS. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. We're also brought to you by SeatGeek, the best app for buying and selling tickets for sporting events, concerts, and more. For $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase on any game or sporting event. And there's a lot of good sports coming up this month, man. Football, basketball, MLS. God knows what else. Use promo code BS, download the SeatGeek app, or go right to SeatGeek.com. Finally, we're brought to you by NBA 2K19. They redefine what sports gaming could be. Their 20th anniversary title, NBA 2K19 on Xbox One, from best-in-class graphics and gameplay to groundbreaking game modes and an immersive open-world neighborhood. NBA 2K19 pushes the limits and brings gaming one step closer to real-life basketball and the excitement and culture around it. Special bonus, guest announcer, me. Oh, yeah, I'm in this. I did like 3+ hours of guest announcing. I get sprinkled in. You'll be playing a game. All of a sudden, there I am. Guest analyst, making some wisecracks, talking hoops. Purchase the Xbox One NBA 2K19 bundle today. Finally, we're brought to you by TheRinger.com, the best website on the planet, and the Ringer Podcast Network, the best podcast network on the planet. By the way, the rewatchables, we are dropping this overnight Monday night, heading into Tuesday morning. Sean Fennessy and I did Rounders, 20th anniversary. Oh, yeah, Rounders. It's happening. This was an hour, 40 minutes long, and I'm surprised it wasn't 2 hours longer. Check that out. Rounders, the rewatchables. Subscribe to the rewatchables wherever you get your podcast. Coming up, the Cuz. First, Pearl Jam. All right, on the line right now, the Cousin Sal. He's doing this from home. He's getting ready. We are taping this Sunday night. He's getting ready. His show launches tomorrow on FS1. Lock it in. 4:30 East Coast time, 1:30 Pacific Coast time. Talking gambling for a solid hour. I'm jealous. You have other people.
What do you mean you're jealous?
Yeah, I don't like when you talk gambling with other people. I'd like to be the only person. Me and the trifecta. I thought that's it. We were sharing custody.
I have to tell you, this is not the perfect show for me, because I'm used to being like 18 inches from you and talking like a human being. And this show, by the third act, we're all screaming at each other, trying to make a point. So
right.
This is going to be a departure from what everyone's used to with me, I think.
Well, welcome to TV.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's it.
So I texted you a parlay today, and I'm like, hey, Bears money line plus 260, putting it with the Rams minus 220, plus 424. I think the Bears have a chance. I was feeling really good, Sal. And you know what I forgot? I forgot Aaron Rodgers, even on one leg, is still one of the scariest people in the history of sports. So there we go.
I wonder if you could bury him like they do it in the sand and the beach. If you could just have his torso above ground, I think he would still do well, right?
Yeah, he could.
He doesn't need two legs.
Threw for 2 TDs. We were nephew Kyle and I watched the game together, and then we drove into work to tape this, and we were listening to NFL radio, and they went back to Lambeau, where it was the play-by-play guy and Jason Taylor, and they're recapping the game, and Jason Taylor goes, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he made me a believer today. And Kyle and I were like, what? You didn't believe in Aaron Rodgers? It took this?
Well, that like 6 Hail Marys ago. Nothing.
The 2 Hail Marys in one season, the Super Bowl apparently wasn't enough to win over Jason Taylor. I don't even know where to begin. This was crazy to watch somebody on one leg. I remember in 08, Phil Rivers, or 07, in the playoffs, Phil Rivers played on a torn ACL. There's a chance Rodgers has like a torn ACL and he's just like, screw it, I'm going to put a brace on it. I'm playing anyway. Michelle Tafoya was badgering him after the game, but not really. Asked him one knee question and Rodgers like, hey, the knee, and I just came back out. And I was like, well, what's wrong with your knee? What do you think is wrong with his knee? Sprain?
I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this posted or tomorrow morning or Monday morning, like we found out he was out for the year. Like you could be right. He could be playing on ACL injury and just got them the one win. And it's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing more I can do.
I just want to win this one game. He said at the end of the interview, he's like, I'm playing next week. So, maybe he's 35 years old and was just like, screw it. So Rodgers is the story. He made some great throws. It was a heroic performance, but the real hidden story was the Bears just blowing this and doing the classic playing not to lose, safe calls at the worst possible times. They had a 3rd and 1, under 3 minutes left on the 14-yard line to basically end the game. Jordan Howard has a ton of momentum. He's been gashing the Packers the whole drive. Packers defense looks gassed. And instead they call a pass play with Trubisky. They don't get it. That leads to the game-winning drive. Then the ball is in Trubisky's hands in Lambeau on Sunday night. And he had a look and demeanor and an accuracy about him that said, I can't believe I'm playing on the other end of this game with Aaron Rodgers on NBC with Al Michaels calling this game. Right. And he just fell apart. And that was it. Can the Bears come back from this?
I don't know. Like you said, there were like 5 times each team could have lost or won this game. Like that 3rd and 1 play, that's either got to be Howard or Trubisky takes it himself or something. You don't want him dropping back to pass there. And kudos to the defensive end for covering, I guess it was Cohen on the flat or something. That was a great play. But let's not forget, like Fuller had an interception. That could have ended the game.
Yes.
For Rodgers. There was so much that went on, but you just knew that if the Bears didn't go up by more than 6, Rodgers was going to come back. Then you thought maybe they left too much time on the clock for Trubisky. But that didn't end up being the case.
No, it turned out to be the right amount of time for Mitch Trubisky. And then Al Michaels, as usual. He's just, when Al Michaels is in the building, something crazy and memorable might actually happen. And he's not even phased anymore. It's just bouncing off him. Collinsworth was more amazed than Al Michaels was, it seemed like. I just can't. He compared Trubisky to Rodgers 7 different times during this game and probably needed some settled down juice, I think. Trubisky is not Aaron Rodgers.
I feel bad because Khalil Mack was clearly the star of the game for 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 10 minutes. There was going to be no other discussion but Khalil Mack, and then Aaron Rodgers took over. Like, I don't know if we want to get into Gruden yet or what, but our friend Brad pointed out that he might be the first man to sign a 10-year contract and get fired before the first game.
Is that
Khalil
possible?
Mack thing it's unbelievable what a player he is and what a disruptor he is. And he's like the first player to have an interception, a sack, a fumble return, interception for a touchdown since he did it like 4 years ago. Amazing.
It didn't even seem like he was on the field that much in the second half, which might have been part of the problem. My wife, who knows nothing, was watching the game with Kyle and I when Khalil Mack had that run when he was just wreaking havoc. Yeah. And we were talking about how they traded him. And again, she knows nothing. She's like, they traded him? Why? And I was like, that's a take. Basically, you're now a professional sports expert because that was all of our reactions.
I hate to tell you that you could have hedged, but there was no way I would have let you do this. But
no,
you know what the Packers were when Rodgers went out, what the odds were?
Wasn't it? The Bears were minus 800, right?
No. That was. I think they had scored again, but when he first went out, it was 14-1.
Well, I really wanted to tweet a Kaiser so-so joke because that's one of my favorite Sal jokes ever. When you dubbed Deshaun Kaiser so-so, and he came in, and my wife, who's still watching the game with us, is like, "Well, he looks like he'll be good," and we're like, "No, he's not good." And then he just started sailing balls everywhere. And
wait, but Bill, why did he just hand the ball to Khalil Mack? He just handed it to him.
He just gave it to him. That was weird. I was getting flashbacks because literally 10 years ago this weekend was when Tom Brady and my Patriots season went down in 8 minutes against the Chiefs, 08.
Oh, wow.
And Rodgers going down, same thing. Look, there's cruel things that can happen as sports fans. We've had a ton of terrible things happen to our teams over the years. Mm-hmm. Ranking way, 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 way up there is losing your franchise quarterback in the first half of the first game.
Sure. Yeah.
You're ready. Football, here we come. Here we go. This is going to be great. I can't wait. Hey, there's Aaron Rodgers. And then he's in a cart. And it just, when I saw him on the cart, I just assumed it was either best case scenario, a torn MCL, which is maybe what he has. But then he comes back. I tweeted the joke about Pierce in the wheelchair because it was similar to that. And the Pierce stakes arguably were even higher because that was the finals. But
and they were talking Willis Reed, Collinsworth, and Michaels. Yeah, so it was all pulled out there.
It was pretty great.
Unbelievable. They have to get better defensively, though, the Packers. I'm not sure they're ready to compete with, like we say, the NFC, we think the 6th seed will have to win 10, maybe 11 games. And I don't know if that defense, especially up the middle, is ready. And then dumb plays like 52. Yeah, I mean, coming up the middle, the late hit on the quarterback was really bad. Yeah, right. And,
I didn't feel like the Bears ran the ball enough, which is weird because they ran it 27 times. 27 times for 139 yards. That felt like, especially when they had the lead, that should have been 40 plus. But then they got too conservative, and it was like they were running when I didn't want them to run. They weren't doing play action when I wanted them to do it. And as Kevin Clark texted me after the game, the Ringer's Kevin Clark, Matt Nagy proven to be a true Andy Reid disciple in that game. I mean, that's a great show. Kudos to Kevin Clark.
Nice, Kevin Clark. Yeah, I was texting you at the beginning of that game. I was like, I love this Matt Nagy. I love him. He's going to be coach of the year. This is great. I love what he's doing. He's got the visor. He's bald. He's pulling it all out all the stops. And then by the end, I was like, what are his first coach to be fired odds? Let me look this up. I don't know.
They're lower than Anthony Lynn's. I felt like watching it. It reminded me of the Jags in January in New England, where they came out with all these awesome plays and just seemed like they had it. They really had their rhythm, and every look was different, and it was meticulously planned out. And then the Jags kind of ran out of plays, and then it just came down to, oh, shit. Uh-oh. How do we protect the lead? Oh, well, we don't want Bortles to do too much. All right, run, pass, punt. Right. Run, pass, punt. And it felt like the same thing happened to the Bears today. You were texting me in the first half, like how the plays the Bears were doing, it was incredible. And then they just ran out. What
happened to Trey Burton? Someone bid like $15 on him in our league. What happened to guys like that? And then all of a sudden, these guys disappeared from the offense. And you're right. There was no game plan going forward.
Well, I don't know what to make of I can't say the Packers knocked my socks off. And I really do feel like the Bears left one on the table. We might remember this. If the Bears end up being good, and I think there's a chance they might be, if Trubisky can just give them like a B-. He was weirdly more dangerous when he was rolling around and doing stuff versus just dropping back and being a passer. But maybe this will be a game that sets them up like, all right, we know we belong now. Here we go. And they can look back and it'll be the learning experience game. Or they're going to go 4-12. What would you pick out of those two options?
I think they're going to go 8-7, 9-6 or something. And then we're going to go into the last week and we're like, oh my God, they could have that Packers game. They would have been in the thick of the playoff run.
They blew that one.
So they got another night game this week against Seattle coming up week 2. So it'll be interesting to see them again.
The best thing I can say about Aaron Rodgers, other than all the great things Jason Taylor said earlier about finally being a believer. First of all, just seeing him on one leg, I still felt like they had a chance and he was potentially going to make it happen, right? Mm-hmm. There's very few guys that you just think, all right, I know he's got one leg. I just can't count him out. Even if they blitz the hell out of him, I still feel like he might make something happen. The second thing was when the Bears kicked the field, when it looked like the Bears were going to kick a field goal, probably to go up 23-17 with like 2 minutes left. I specifically remember thinking to myself, this is setting up the Rodgers Hail Mary, and not even like in a joking way. Like, oh fuck, he's going to win this game out of Hail Mary. Like it really felt conceivable. And Credit to that dude, man. He's one of the best. I do want to remind everyone, Tom Brady has 5 rings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just we settle down with the GOAT stuff. How about this? Win 40% as many rings as Tom Brady, and then we can have the GOAT conversation. Can you win 40% as many?
All right, I want to have that conversation. But for the Bears, I think they were beat as soon as he came back on the field, though. All right, that pass to Geronimo Allison was great. There's no way Kaiser Soso is going to do that. But what happened on that Cobb play? What happened?
Oh, my God.
Well, how did he get like an 80-yard touchdown out of that? Where's the free safety or anyone there?
Yeah, and somehow Khalil Mack almost chased him down. Khalil Mack was rushing Aaron Rodgers on the play and somehow rallied back. So the losers from that game, I think me, I lost money. I literally lost. Trubisky, oh man, all he has to do is manage the game and the Bears can go 11-5, 10-6, which I was in that camp. I felt like they had enough overall talent that he just had to be decent. That took a hit. And then the big loser of the day, the Buccaneers, they pull off this crazy win in New Orleans. They blow up everybody's eliminator pool. They blow up every 3-team parlay, tease, money line parlay, anything anyone had. They basically destroyed probably an hour and a half into the season. And it kind of should have been there Monday morning. And now they're just gone. It's like it never happened.
Yeah, well, they should have played that game Sunday night. That's their fault. But
it's their fault.
That was bizarro. And I think I texted you. I was like, everybody's on the Saints. Everybody's on the Vikings Patriots ended up being easy. If you could just would have stayed with those on a teaser or whatever, they barely covered. But yeah, everybody went down on the ship with the Saints. I don't understand. Well, I guess you're allowed to have one bad game defensively, but those guys are all pros. They had the best draft ever defensively. The Saints did, and those guys, they didn't show up at all. I mean, did he have 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, or was I off on that? I think he had 500 yards.
The crazy thing was when they let him scramble for the game-deciding first down. It was like 3rd and 12. Obviously, he's going to take off if there's any daylight. Somehow it was like wide open for him. Their defense was awful. They had some bad luck. I'm not going to overreact from a Saints perspective. It just was kind of, we see this 6-7 times a year. It was just one of those games. You could feel it early. Dumb plays, dumb touchdowns, dumb turnovers, and it just kind of got away from them. I also feel like these, the division, these big favorites playing the division team that they play twice a year does seem like that has more chance for kind of weirdness versus like a Baltimore Buffalo situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously if it's Jameson there, it's a different story. They don't get the double digit nod, but I don't know. I just this is Bree's garbage time. This is when he's at his best. He brought them back, but it wasn't enough. And if the Panthers had somehow lost to the Cowboys, Tampa Bay would have been in first place alone in that division.
Yeah,
strange going on.
Michael Thomas had some. He finished with good stats, but had a couple killer drops. Not as many drops as all of the Chargers receivers in that Chiefs game. But I'm not willing to get carried away from a Saints perspective. But from a Bucs perspective, I think we went into week 1 thinking, we did a couple podcasts together, and we were thinking the mortal lock bad teams in the NFC were going to be Arizona and Tampa. Arizona's awful. I think what do they have, like 7 first downs in that game? So we're right about them. We were right about Buffalo.
Are we ready to cross those two off? Because I was going to ask you, Arizona, Buffalo. Is it too early?
I'm not ready to cross Arizona off yet because we haven't seen the Rams play. And for all we know, there's not a single good team in that division. Who knows? I am actually ready to cross Buffalo off after week 1. I think that is our first. If we cross off one a week for the next 17 weeks or next 16 weeks, we will be at 16 playoff teams.
Okay, that's fine. We'll cross. I think we crossed them off 3 times last year, but I'm willing to take the plunge this early with them. They showed me absolutely nothing.
It's a rare combination of really porous skill position guys, and then a dreadful quarterback situation. The coach. You could tell from the coach that it's not going to get better. Sometimes you watch these guys, sometimes you have the like Hugh Jackson types who, even though it's going terribly, seem like they're still confident irrationally that it might turn around. Sean McDermott looked like it just was going to be a long season. It was pretty rough. Every time they cut to him, it looked like he should be sneaking drinks from a flask or something.
I mean, they had 3rd and 24s. The guy would run 26 yards, turn around. He'd be wide open. Like, there would be nobody. The passing lanes were incredible. And if the Bills don't have those like ball hawking safeties like they did last year and the year before, it's going to be a long, long year. Either way, it's going to be a long year. Not a lot of offense out of this team either.
We talked about the AFC South. You had that bet about what was it, 8.5 wins for a division champ? The over.
If every division champ goes over 8.5 wins, I win. Yeah.
So we were thinking, all right, who could screw up that bet? If we do that bet, who could be an 8-8 champ or an 8-7-1 champ, whatever. And we joked about the ties. And the two divisions we targeted were the AFC South and I think the AFC North we mentioned too. And then they ended up having a tie in there. But
yeah, and we did. But I'll say this, early, even before that, when the Eagles were struggling to break double digits heading into the fourth quarter against the Falcons, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be my division. It's going to be the Eagles will be 8-8, and that'll be enough to win. Yeah, they didn't impress me either.
The Redskins looked okay. I think the Alex Smith thing is a real thing, but
yeah,
I bring it up because it really does seem like the AFC South is going to be bad. Because Houston did not look good. They cannot block. They had a couple injuries during the game. Watson didn't look comfortable. I was not scared of him the entire game. I didn't think their defense was that good. I think their coach is on the lower end of the spectrum, and he really botched that game. And we've seen him do that before. The Colts defensively just don't have it. It was nice to see Luck come back, but wasn't impressed by them. And then, the surprise one for me was Tennessee, who I thought had a chance to steal that division. Mariota gets hurt. I don't know when he's coming back, but then Delaney Walker clearly got hurt. Like I think he's done for the year.
And Taylor Lewin, their tackle, has a concussion. Like that's trouble. There's not even a line on that game. We don't even know what's going to be. But yeah, I've been screaming about the Colts secondary all summer. And Houston, Brady he got off to a flat start. He was throwing his receivers' feet and everything. These guys were open. He wasn't even hitting them. Let's not forget, this is the full Texans team. They go down like flies. They'll get injured every 2 weeks. There'll be someone big on defense that gets hurt. So the fact that they couldn't capitalize even the beginning of that game says a lot about the Texans and where they might be going.
I wasn't worried about Brady. I was more worried about the separation from the Pats receivers. Gronk was really the only one who was getting open at all downfield. And
some of those plays he wasn't even open when he made those catches. It was amazing.
Yeah, they had to use, we always talk on here about how they save Gronk for the playoffs, basically. They don't run the pass patterns that will get him hurt. And they had to use 2 of them during this game to kind of pull it out. But Chris Hogan got shut down. The big shocker was how good Philip Dorsett looked. Because he is not somebody we were counting on, but it actually looked like with a full training camp and the whole thing that he could at least do a relatively half-decent impersonation of like a faster Deion Branch type thing. It was a Pats game where you knew in the second quarter they had it, and we've watched that game a million times. Miami, I'm not sure what to make of them because that Tennessee game was so weird. The weather delay was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And they had a couple long plays. They had a kick return, and I don't know what to make of that from their end. But hold on, let's take a break. The saying time is money? It's true, especially when you run your own business. But running a successful business involves taxes, contracts, and a whole lot of fine print. Things that eat up too much of your time. Well, it's time to turn to LegalZoom. Over the last 17 years, more than 1 million Americans have used LegalZoom to help launch their businesses. But that's only the beginning. LegalZoom also has a network of independent attorneys and tax professionals who can provide you with the advice you need to get through the daily grind of running your business. The best part? You don't have to worry about driving to anyone's office or being billed by the hour. LegalZoom is not a law firm. Count on them to provide the business resources you need, service that fits into your schedule. Invest your time and money into growing your business. Let LegalZoom help with the legal stuff. Go to LegalZoom.com right now. Use code BS at checkout for special savings. That is promo code BS at LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom, where life meets illegal. All right, so before we're going to do guess the lines, but a couple more things on week 1. First of all, it's great to have football back. I didn't move for 6 hours. It was really enjoyable. The Chiefs. We backed the Chiefs We were
Yeah.
fired up for the Chiefs. We bet on them to win the division. You picked them as the 1 seed in the AFC. I picked them as one of my Super Bowl teams along with the Los Angeles Rams. Mahomes comes out. I hate to use the word electric, but it was kind of electric. Mahomes was like genuinely exciting. Threw some, I don't know, maybe had 5 or 6 throws that were just like kind of wow throws. I was really, really impressed. And combined with Tyreek Hill and, some of the weapons they have, that really jumped out to me. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did. And he is a freak. He's an absolute freak because like before the half, he's trying to throw like downfield to get in position for a field goal, but he's giving about a 30% effort and they're going like 35, 40 yards.
Yeah.
Then he like launches into one. He can throw a great deep ball and he has the best player in the league for that. Tyreek Hill has 13 touchdowns of 50 or more yards in 32 games.
Right.
That's astounding. Like I know obviously a lot of those are returns and everything, but imagine this guy, Ivan Drago having this weapon. It might be too much for the AFC.
I got to say, he reminded me of Favre. I don't think their playing styles are exactly the same, but his ability to just uncork these lasers just from all over the place. And man, he has to have the best arm in the league. I can't imagine anybody who can compete with that. There's some good arms, like Stafford always gets credit for having a good arm and a couple others, but there's nothing like that guy. That game was really exciting. And in reality, we were cheated because the Chargers should have had about 20 more points. Their receivers dropped multiple touchdowns and big plays. And I think the takeaway for me with the Chiefs just being worried about them and our financial interest in them and also what their ceiling is, the shoddy defense that they allegedly had, that reputation did not go away in that game. They made a couple plays, but for the most part, it seems like a team that is going to be in a lot of 37-30 type of games. It's like an old school AFC West team. I thought that game was genuinely exciting. And from the Chargers side, same stuff we've seen all last year, just a ton of talent, mistakes, special teams mistakes, coaching mistakes. They went for 2 in the first half. Like there was like 4 minutes left in the game. Stupid defensive plays, all kinds of stuff. It was typical. It was a typical Chargers game and reminiscent of the Falcons on Thursday night, where it was like, wow, you're just not different at all than you were 9 months ago. Nothing's going to change.
Not at all. And the Chargers, down to the bad field goal kicking. Like, and this guy Sturgis is okay. Like, I don't know why. He kicks that field goal. The Chargers could get the ball back down 7 with 50 seconds left, but he missed it and it was over. But if you're the Chiefs, really all you have to do is, you have to outsling the other team to a point where Andy Reid can't screw you with under 2 minutes left. And that's kind of almost what happened. And no, let's not forget, Mahomes hit Kelsey. I think he had 1 reception for 6 yards. Like, he's not even working that monster into the mix. Yeah. Maybe his routes aren't deep enough for Mahomes. He's like, I can't even see you because I'm looking 40 yards downfield. I'm sorry. But, they're going to be fun to watch.
Kelsey's like, can you take some off the throws, man? You're hurting my,
exactly.
My hands. Yeah, I think the Chiefs, if you're just looking at who looked the best today out of all the AFC teams, you would say the Chiefs. I think the Pats looked like the Pats. Their defense is definitely better. There's no question. I actually I have them in fantasy, in our fantasy league that we should talk about in a little bit. But I think they're going to be reliable at home. I think they're going to, the front seven's much better. Secondary is pretty good. And it looks like it's much improved there. No more Matt Patricia, which is a bonus. But yeah, if you go through all the AFC teams, those are the only 2 that really have looked good so far.
Well, the Ravens, you can't count them.
I'm not counting them. I can't count that.
Yeah, but there were no flaws there.
I just can't. Yeah. If anything, if you're a Ravens fan, Mallory Rubin was in our Slack losing her mind because, they have this huge win, but it also kind of makes people believe in Flacco again.
Right.
And that's not the direction maybe you want them to go if you're fired up for Lamar Jackson. So now that kind of emboldens the profile.
Yeah, it's not fair to Lamar Jackson that they had to open up against the Bills, right?
Right.
Flacco gets to shine.
Yeah, I mean, if Lamar Jackson had been in that game, they win 40-3 or whatever, and everybody's like, Lamar Jackson, here he is. Let's go. One of the best and easiest eliminator picks in my life.
Yeah, I had them too.
I went with them, and and I really enjoyed it. And I loved
You were
it.
smart. And by the way, kudos to you. I don't think you called the upset, but when you urged people to stay away from the Saints, she's like, I could see Fitzpatrick having one of those sneaky veteran games, all that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Saints, whoever you go with, Ravens, you'll win. But yeah, good job. Good job by you. I hope people listen.
Good job by you, except I ended up betting on the Saints money line today.
Oh, yeah, that's
you
right.
let me do that.
Bad job by both of us.
Yeah, I put the Saints money line with the Rams. And I had the Bengals by themselves, and then I had the Chiefs with the Rams money line, and then I had the Bears money line with the Rams money line. So basically the Raiders are going to win tomorrow because I've put the kibosh on them. I
somehow went 3-0. I had Cincinnati, I had Washington, and I had your Patriots, and not a lot of money to show for it. So we're back on track.
Well, we're not in the Super Contest this year.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Well,
you're not
I'm in it.
Oh, you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm retired.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, I'm retired. They had, when I entered that contest in 2010, they had like 370 entries, and now they have 3,000. But they couldn't work out any way for me to be in it this year unless I flew there. So
what happened? You tried? Yeah, they won't do it. It is crazy.
It's fine. Look, I get the rules, but I don't know. I expected a little more. I expected a little more from their side to try to help me out to get in. So
also, it's 2018. Like, why do we have to deal with this stuff?
Yeah, I'm out.
We know who you are. People are making. You could trade on the internet $50,000 worth of stocks in 3 seconds, but they don't trust you to put your own picks in online. Stupid.
It's fine. I'm going to start my own contest next year, and they'll regret it. So let's talk about the fantasy draft.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was getting voted out on Monday night. You thought I was getting voted out. I could tell from your demeanor.
You could tell? Well, as far as I knew, you were getting voted out, but I didn't want to tell you that because then you don't show up. But
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, you wouldn't have, right? Yeah, I think he pussed out the Hammershake. He was talking a big game all summer. But to be fair, you were talking a big game about quitting all summer. So
yeah,
I thought you guys were going to meet head on. But then what did he do? He went with whoever was the last one to walk in the room was who he was voting out.
Well, he also did a very smart thing. Everybody had to sign a document that they wouldn't vote him out for the next 5 years.
Yeah, it was on legal stationery. Garagos is the lawyer, but I don't like that. I signed that, but if everybody does that, then our fun wrinkle of voting everybody out is gone, right?
Well, you know what? I like playing football with. I like playing fantasy with my friends, so I would never have voted Damashek out.
No, there you go. That's nice.
But he did. The people who got voted out were Elliot and his friend, who showed up wearing House of Carbs t-shirts. So I felt bad. I did feel bad. They were wearing rigger merch as they walked sadly out of there. But we had a draft.
They had to walk around Hollywood Boulevard with their head in the clouds with those shirts on. I love it.
I haven't had Tom Brady in our draft. I don't think since 2007 when I won the draft with one of the greatest fantasy teams ever assembled. And ever since that year, Craig Powell, also a Pats fan, has just locked down Brady every year to the point that it was kind of psychotic where you just be like 29 and Powell would be like 30. Just he's going to pay any price to have Brady. And he had him for 10 years. This year in our draft, it gets to $8 and nobody goes to 9. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, 9. I'm not letting Brady go for 8. And then I got Brady for 9. So I have Tom Brady on my fantasy team. Yeah. And he's on my real team. And I got to say, it was really enjoyable. I understand what Powell was doing all these years.
Well, good for you. But remember, you and Henge crying up until then about how the Patriots receivers suck. And, let's just remember, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter who he has out there. You could have Logan Paul out there and throwing passes to him or whatever YouTube influencer out there. And then
could be Des Bryant.
Back.
Des Bryant was tweeting, basically pleading with the Pats to sign him. And it was like, I don't think we need another receiver who can't get separation from the line. I'm sorry, Des.
Right.
But yeah, so the fantasy draft, the star was John Hamm, who was just insulting everybody and then including his own team because he picked the worst team, not only of the week, but of the entire season. And I don't think his team cracked 50 points yet. But he was in rare form. And then
you played against him, right, this week?
No, I unfortunately didn't. I beat somebody, but
I thought you did.
I did. I beat him. No, I beat him this week.
Yeah, you beat him, right?
Yeah. Have some of that, Ham. He was
great because he was throwing darts at everybody, and also somehow thought he knew exactly how much everybody had to bid. So there were a couple illegal bids by people. Like if you had $18 left and you bid 19, or whatever, if you had 19 and you had like 6 slots left, the most you could bid is 14, right? And then someone would bid 15 or 14, he would go nuts. And he caught 2 people on that. But then the next 10 people he accused actually did have enough money.
There's a lot of accusing. And then the other thing he was doing was he was doing the 1, 2, and then right as August was saying sold, he was just saying the price and there was confusion. He made it all up to us though when he did an actual fake Mercedes ad. He did
the lease deal. The voice and everything. That was nice.
Somebody tried to insult him back, like saying, like, go hawk another Mercedes or something like that. And he immediately lapsed into a 30-second Mercedes commercial. So that was a highlight. The other highlight was our friend Brad, who has been on your podcast with me, still the highest rated against all odds ever. Brad's life story.
Absolutely.
Brad, you were telling me Brad is in especially rare form lately, and I didn't really believe it. And we were in a room, we were in the Jimmy Kimmel Live green room doing the draft because our happy endings bar fell through. And and Brad, for some reason, didn't like Mike August's, was doing the auctioneer stuff and went in the other room and closed the door. So he wasn't part of the draft and couldn't hear anything and was just opening the door and yelling out auction bids, but I missed 80 picks and was pacing around and yelling at people and insulting people. And it was really special. I felt like watching it. I felt a lot like I did with Aaron Rodgers tonight, where I was like, I'm going to remember this. This is the night I'm going to remember the rest of my life. That's how I felt with Brad. I know you felt the same.
You did a nice job illustrating it, though. Yeah, I think you had an Instagram story. You showed him spinning around and going from room to room. But the special thing about this year is Mike August, who's a friend of ours, but really, really corny as all hell. Had a microphone. So he's extra loud. And he's like, all right, Le'Veon Bell, $45. Le'Veon Bell Peppers. Bell Peppers here. Le'Veon Bell telephone. And Brad's like, oh, I can't take it. I'm out of here. He hasn't said anything funny or clever in 20 years. And then you wouldn't see Brad for like 15 minutes, over which we probably did 10 names that he might have wanted a bid on. And then he'd come back and he'd make a bid. And I think he missed like 140 out of 180 names called.
Yeah, but then at one point he wandered in when he was up and he's like, James Conner, $1. And we all laughed. Right. And that turned out to be probably the best pick of the draft.
Well, it sure was. He played against me today, and James Conner had 30 points. Maybe we should talk about the overreactions of the week. One of is that the Steelers could do just as well with James Conner as they could Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that's definitely not true. One other thing about Brad, you know when Chris Berman did the home run derby and Twitter just went crazy? They just lost their minds how annoying he was. Mm-hmm. August was like Chris Berman in the home run derby, and Brad was all of Twitter just reacting to him. We didn't talk about Browns Steelers.
We haven't talked about it yet. Oh, that's right. Yeah. What's to talk about?
I mean, it would have been the game of the day if Aaron Rodgers hadn't done this crazy comeback on one leg. They turned the ball over 6 times. They missed a field goal to win an OT. Mm-hmm. And somehow didn't lose on the road. Hugh Jackson gets 6 turnovers at home and was down 21-7 at one point.
Yep.
And as they're driving, and it seems like they're driving for the winning touchdown or field goal or whatever at the end of regulation, Hugh Jackson calls for maybe it was Todd Haley, the coaching staff, calls for like the home run. We're going to get Josh Gordon deep. He's going to run it in. We're going to get the touchdown, which is great, except Tyrod Taylor's their quarterback, and he underthrew it by 15 yards, and it got intercepted. It was a coaching apocalypse. It was awful. Pittsburgh was awful. Everybody was disgraced. The fans were getting rained on for 4 hours. They're celebrating like something good's going to happen. It ends up being a tie. Should they have? How many people made the pour half a Gatorade bottle on Hugh Jackson joke or half a Gatorade?
Well,
bucket?
A lot, including me. You stole my tweet. In fact, I had it as a poll, and then you stole it. But
I didn't even know. What was your poll?
Well, it's just a bad look for the Ringer if you're stealing your other employees' jokes. But whatever.
I would never steal from you, Sal.
No, but how do you feel that you're supposed to? I guess they should feel good about it, the Browns, right? Anytime it's not a loss. Brother Bry from my podcast Against All Odds says nothing would be better if they went 0-0 and 16 this year.
That's it. It's still in play.
Yeah, they could do it.
Well,
they
then
would be the team to do it.
We have our wins pool, and this has been a fight in the wins pool, which is no longer a fight because it's just the rule. It's a wins pool. You have to win to get a win. But we started the ringer.
I had a lot of people tweet me about that. How do you handle ties? And it's a wins pool. You need to win to advance.
It's a win. If the Steelers have 8 wins this year, they have 8 wins. It's not like 8.5. But the ringer had never done a wins pool. So on our Slack, they were like, what do you mean? That should be a half a win. So I had to have the same kind of battle that we had for all those years.
Who had the Steelers at the ringer? Do you remember?
I can't remember, but they were upset about it. But you know what? I think it was probably Roger Sherman. But
okay.
You know why they call it a wins pool? Because we count up the wins at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
A tie is not a win, unfortunately. So everybody
do a ties pool on the side if that's how you want to do it.
Yeah, ties pool, Rogers winning.
The best stat I saw all day on NFL Network, and someone sent this to me, it said Browns 0-0-1, best start since 2004.
No.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
How could that be?
Best start since 2004?
They've lost 14 home openers or 13 home openers or 13 openers. It's crazy.
I was watching the beginning of that game, and they ran a stat that the Steelers were 29-4 against the Browns. Or it was like 29-4 in their last 33 or something.
Yeah.
They did like for them to tie the Browns is one of the worst losses in franchise history. But
man,
I think everybody was disgraced on both sides. Pittsburgh, they did this last year. We wrote them off after 4 games, and then they at least rallied back enough that we thought they were a threat. So I don't want to write them off, but that was not a good start. And Roethlisberger looked particularly shaky. And at some point, it's just not going to come back in October. He's going to have a year where that's it. But I did enjoy how much the O-line was celebrating the James Conner touchdowns, though. There was some real fuck you in that. They were really going nuts. Fun. Baker Mayfield, if he's not the starter within 4 weeks, I think we should be concerned. I think people forgot how mediocre Tyrod Taylor was, especially after Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. There's a reason he's 30 years old and is kind of bouncing around and super available. But what'd you think of the Seattle-Denver, the Case Keenum and the whole Denver thing? Because I thought they showed flashes.
Yeah, I like Denver. I like them going into the game. I guess they just pushed if you bet it, right?
They did.
A full -3. But they split carries. Royce Freeman, I have him in the league, and this guy Lindsey were both 15 for 71. So they have a nice, it seems, running back by committee. I don't mind them, and their defense is always going to be tough. So they'll be in the mix, I think.
It felt like that game would have been a blowout if it wasn't for the Seahawks punter, who is clearly going to be an MVP candidate this season. I'm not even joking. He dominated that game. It was over and over again. He was just pinning them inside the 20 or the 15 and was kind of keeping the Seahawks in it. I don't know really what kind of team the Seahawks have. Doug Baldwin's hurt already, and that wasn't a great loss for them. That's a game, if they're going to go 9-7, 10-6, you probably got to win that game.
Brandon Marshall stepping up is good for them, I would say, in Doug Baldwin's place. But yeah, the new Legion of Boom is the boom off that guy's foot, the punter, because that's what you look forward to now watching.
What'd you think of Jimmy Gorgeous today?
It was about what I thought would happen. He's going to throw that pick that's going to hurt them, and he's still a little green in that area. But that was his first loss, right, as a starter?
Yeah, I think it was. Not having Goodwin basically the whole game was kind of a murder for him. They're skill position guys. I will say, George Kittle.
You like him?
I'm sure he's taken in all your fantasy leagues, but they went to him a lot. He really seemed like he was the dominant receiver on that team. And there was a couple of plays when he was open and Jimmy missed him. I think Kittle dropped one, but he was kind of all over the place in that game. So,
well, speaking of fantasy, the big fantasy pickup is going to be W. Disley, the tight end for Seattle. We breezed by Seattle. He went for 5 for 105 and a touchdown this week.
And then last thing before we get to the lines, the Bengals did what they had to do in that game. They fell behind. They were down, I think, 10, and luck looked pretty good. And it had all the makings of like, oh, man, why didn't we see this? This is why the line was so suspicious. It had. I was F-cursing Andy Dalton early. I was really mad because I had them all over the place. But, A.J. Green is somehow one of the most underrated receivers. I don't know. Like, he was one of the fantasy guys. I was like, I don't care what he goes for. I'm not taking A.J. Green. And
he just steps up. He makes big plays. And that Ross, he was like the fastest guy in the league last year at the combines. Like they could have a nice thing going if Dalton can get in sync with these guys.
Joe Mixon looked really good in that game too.
Yeah.
It was a great day for NFL players who were involved in horrific domestic violence incidents because him and Tyreek Hill were big winners today. And it still never feels right being like, oh man, Joe Mixon looks great. Cause you have the flashbacks to the incident. But I think since he's where they want to be, because Pittsburgh certainly didn't show that much, and we don't know about Baltimore until they play a real football team. So,
well, they're playing each other this week, so that'll be interesting.
We might be all right with that. All right, we're gonna take a break, then we're gonna do the week 2 lines. This part of Guess the Lines is brought to you by Miller Lite. Here in the Ringer, we have our disagreements. There shouldn't be any debate about this. Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer, only 96 calories, 3.2 grams of carbs. That's fewer calories and half the carbs of Bud Light. So there's really nothing more to talk about. The argument's over. Kind of like how Tom Brady has 5 rings and Aaron Rodgers has 1. That argument's over too. If you have a real argument, let me hear it. Until then, stick with Miller Lite, the official beer of Bill Simmons in college from 1988 to 1992. Miller Lite, hold true. And since we're here, go check out theringer.com/shop. You get t-shirts, you get stuff to stick on your laptops, little stickers, sweatshirts, hats, dad hats, more stuff coming. Check it out if you like The Ringer, and I hope you do. And you want to support us. And for us, it's about being out there, having you wearing our stuff out there and spreading the word for us. Our site's free. The podcasts are free. You could buy a hat. Go check it out. theringer.com/shop. Week 2 lines. Speaking of the Bengals, Thursday night, Bengals home for the aforementioned Ravens. Tough one for the Ravens. They barely get to celebrate the ass kicking of Nathan Peterman in Buffalo. Now all of a sudden they're on Thursday night. Where is this Thursday night game? Is this NFL Network?
It's in Cincinnati. And this is interesting because they played twice last year. The first time the Ravens, it was week 1. They went in there and they beat the crap out of the Bengals. They shut them out. I think the Bengals were shut out twice at home to start the season. Everyone's calling for Marvin Lewis's head. But the last game of the season, you remember, it was New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And the Bengals knocked the Ravens out of the playoffs. So I don't know who owes who here.
Is this NFL Network, though, or is it Fox? Or what? It's not Fox yet. I don't think Fox starts.
It hasn't started yet? Yeah, I'm not positive.
I picked Bengals by 3. I think this is a classic -3.
I said Bengals by 1.5. Ravens still get the nod by 1.5.
That's a mistake.
I think so as well.
I think they are even. They're even, or the Bengals are even better. And I actually think the Bengals are a little bit better. And that's dumb. I do not agree with that.
Well,
line.
I wonder what would this line be before week 1? I mean, they're just giving the Ravens a lot of credit for beating up on the Bills.
I think it's more they don't believe in Cincinnati at all. That was why we saw that Colts line, Colts by 2. The Colts, to me, looked like a bottom 6 team. I think Luck looks good, but their running backs are horrific, and they really only have one receiver. Sunday, rarely do this. We rarely do a double marquee game, but I really do think we have 2 marquee games this week for whatever reason, week 2. First one, Patriots on the road in Jacksonville, a rematch, Bortles versus Brady, AFC title game from 9 months ago. I picked the Patriots by 3.5. I had a lot of trouble with this one.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought you would short sell this and your Patriots and they're on the road and everything. I said 2.5 and it's 2.
Ooh.
But that'll go up.
Trying to remember all the times the Patriots were less than -3 on the road against anybody the last 10 years. It cannot be more than 7 times.
If you just go by points, I don't want to overvalue this week, but again, the Jaguars just don't seem to have as much firepower that they need to, beat the Patriots. Patriots not going to score 13 points this game, right?
That Giants game was too winnable for the Giants. I felt like I didn't think Eli. I mean, we're now going on 4 years of saying this, but Eli did not look good, and it did feel like the Giants could have and should have stolen that game and could not get done. The Jags kind of squeaked it out. Wasn't wasn't a command performance by any
Right.
means.
This will go up to 3. I think you're right. It'll go up to 3.
Yeah.
All right. No teaser game so far. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, the other one, Green Bay at home against Minnesota, and I made my guess before Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
You could change it.
Resurrected. No, I still feel like pretty good about this. I have Packers by 3.
I had 2.5, and it's only 1.5. So Vegas not as impressed as we were with Aaron Rodgers.
Do you like that, Sal?
Do I like that?
No, do you like that?
Do I like it? Oh, yeah, I like it a lot.
Did you see?
I like it in all over it.
I don't know if you saw this. Kirk Cousins trademarked "You like that."
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
I missed that.
He really did. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an internet hoax, and it's not. He trademarked, or he's trying to trademark "You like that."
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not having any, no one's competing for this, are they? He could have it for himself.
I don't
You like that.
If there's some rich Packers fan, they might have to like try to beat him to it. You like that
Yeah.
is almost single-handedly going to derail their season. Not to mention the 60 years of bad mojo.
Oh
with
my
the Vikings,
God.
but
I may need to shower before going on to the next game. I don't like you like that.
the Vikes look good on D. You know,
Yeah.
no surprise because they're loaded with talent, but
They're so deep.
I thought Garoppolo weirdly played well considering he was under siege and didn't really have anybody to throw to. I thought he handled himself for the fact that they were kind of lingering in that game for most of the game. I thought was pretty impressive. The Vikes are good. And I'm not.
I guess so.
breaking
That's a
any
hostile
news.
environment and one of the best defenses and top 3 team. I would say, yeah. I guess we give Jimmy G more credit than I should have there.
Well,
But,
my point is, I don't think he's bad. I think that was a really tough spot, and I don't know if a lot of QBs would have done better with the skill guys that he had, which were basically, Alfred Morris and George Kittle, and it just was not a murderer's row.
Breda, yeah,
Matt
it's not great.
Breda, random receivers that you kind of were like, oh, I think I know who that guy is. So Packers. So those are 2 nice ones, Sal.
I have to say, I think there's a third one in there, but we'll get. But but miracle win aside, he can't be excited about this game, Aaron Rodgers. He just can't be. I know it's home and everything, but that's another tough defense, and he's gonna get banged around a lot here.
Yeah, and that they did a nice job in the NBC game today, pointing out how much faster he was getting the ball out in the second half compared to the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume they're going to do that again, but this time the Vikings are going to be ready for him to do that, and that'll be a
You
problem.
don't like Chiefs Steelers as an elite game?
Not after sitting through a Steelers game, no.
I know, but they'll be home, and
It's a fun game.
What odds do you give that Bell's on the team next week?
Oh, I think he sits out a couple more. I think
Really?
I think this is bad now. He doesn't really have to come back until week 9 or week 10. But what's interesting
Week
is
10, yeah.
he can't really accomplish anything. There's no way for them to give him a new contract. They could trade him. And that's really it. So unless he's trying to demand a trade, I don't really know what he's trying to prove at this point other than what a lot of people have theorized, which is he just doesn't want to put 16 games of mileage on his body. What
do you think he was trying to prove with that tweet with the monocle emoji? Because I stared at that for a long time.
Somebody, I can't remember who did this, but it was funny. Somebody responded that was the face he was making when he realized he lost $850,000 by not playing. I think it was Joel Solomon. Shout out to Joel Solomon.
I love Joel Solomon.
Yes, I think that was his, but maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
But really, what was he thinking? It was like, is this like, hey, I could see better than you can, or I could see this coming, or kind of thing? I would love to know what that was about.
Just seems like it's not a great idea to continue your feud with the 300-pound guys who block for you.
Yeah, the guys who save your head and knees. Yeah, probably not.
Also, when one of
plus,
them,
then he's going to come back in 6 weeks, and instead of making 10 times as much as them, he's going to make 30 times as much as them. So he's got to take that into account too.
Yeah, true. One of the 5 guys is a Pouncey, and they're like the Morris brothers in basketball. It's just never a good idea to be on the opposite side of the Pounceys ever. Hey, the Poop Fecta goes 3 deep this week. There's only one really magnificent Poop Fecta game. The other 2 are Poop Fecta games because one of the teams are involved.
Only one.
First one, Chargers at Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Buffalo does at quarterback. I don't think this is the game to bring Josh Allen in, but I don't know if we should ever see Nathan Peterman again. What would you do? What would your choice be between those two options?
I go everything equal. At this point put because if a team's going to go 3-13 or 4-12, give the rookie the nod, right? Let him get the reps. I would say.
I would normally say that. Like I would say that if it was basketball, but a must-win game for the Chargers. Like if Bosa comes back, I'm not sure that's what I want for my first Josh Allen game. But
yeah,
I just don't know how you can play Peterman again. We always hear the word historically is now the most overused word in sports analysis, and it's just thrown around all the time. But his 2 starts are historically the worst. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. You can't do worse.
I don't know why they didn't learn their lesson last year. It almost cost them a playoff spot, but maybe they think that's good luck to set them on a nice run.
And they must see something they like.
I've bet against the Bills in this spot. Chargers at Bills. I remember 2 times probably in the last 3 years, and I've lost. But what do you have for a line?
I'll tell you this. I will not be putting the Chargers in a parlay or tease. I will not be selecting them in an eliminator pool. Because
they don't look exactly right yet.
They don't. The coach and just the juju that team has, and the fact that I just don't like it. Plus, they had the dreaded the hype machine for them the 3 weeks before the season. Like everybody, you didn't watch this team last year. You don't realize the same coach is coming back, and what's going to be different. Yeah. I have Chargers by 9.
Wow! After all that, and actually you're going to be closer. I went low. I said 5, and it's 7.5. So you get that one.
Oh, shit. Now I want to tease the Chargers. That's too low.
Can we bet Anthony Lynn or Caleb Sturgis? Who goes first?
How can they still not? I would have drafted a field goal kicker 2 rounds earlier than anyone's ever done it before, just to not ever have this problem again. Or gone and, go get like Adam Vinatieri or anybody who is some veteran, reliable guy and just overpay for them in free agency. How do they do this to themselves again? Why?
But now I'm wondering if it's just them. Like, because Sturgis isn't awful. He just coming to the Chargers does this to you.
Oh, it's like Spinal Tap drummer type situation?
Bizarre. It's just bizarre.
Jets are home. We haven't seen the Jets yet. We have no idea if this line is ridiculous or not. I feel stupid guessing it. They're playing the Dolphins. I have the Jets -2 over the Dolphins.
Yeah, I said the Dolphins -2, and it's Dolphins -1.5. But yeah, there's not a lot to go on here.
The only thing I would say about the Dolphins, again, I don't want to overreact to that bizarre rain delay game, whatever the hell was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But they did get rid of a lot of these guys that have never really won anything, who were like cancer guys or just wrong for chemistry or it just wasn't working. They moved on. And they brought in all these new guys, and it's like Danny Amendola and people like that. And maybe there is a little kind of suboptimal Ewing theory potential with them. Because there has to be a second half decent team in the AFC East. The AFC is bad. You're not going to have 3 terrible teams in one division. Somebody has to rise.
No, we say that every year. Nobody has to. The second place could be 6 and 10. It can be. It really can.
It could be, except for that rest of the AFC is so bad. I think it would be hard for somebody not to go at least 7 and 9. So maybe it's the Dolphins.
Did anyone draft Kenny Stills? Yeah, they must have, right?
I don't know, but he's been on everyone's team. We've passed him around.
2 touchdowns.
He's available in Fab. If he hasn't been picked up yet, he will be picked up and then probably waived in week 7.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Rams home playing the putrid Arizona Cardinals. And I am assuming the Rams are going to take care of business tomorrow against the Raiders. I was projecting that in my guess. I had the Rams by 13.
I said 14. I thought you couldn't make this high enough. And it's only 10.5.
That seems low.
So you get that one, but why isn't that 14, 15, 16? What?
It doesn't seem it doesn't seem like people believe in the Rams as like a kind of a juggernaut kicking everybody's ass team yet.
But isn't that a perfect quarterback for them to go against if it's Bradford, like check down guy? That's all he's going to do.
He had a classic one today. I mean, it's a cliche to even joke about at this point, but there was one, they're down 21-0. It's 3rd and 8, second half. he does the thing. He shuffles his feet and just dumps it to the running back in double coverage, who gets tackled for a yard. And I just don't understand. Year after year, teams talk themselves into this guy as a starter. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He is what he is. He's like 30 now. He's going to change? He's going to find some sort of quarterback Jesus and transform. Like, this is who Sam Bradford is. It's not
he's also going to get Larry Fitzgerald killed. Like, Larry Fitzgerald's like, hey, God. I like running real routes here. Yeah. What are you doing to me? I have to go 4 yards over the middle every time.
Yeah, they might have to put Larry on the Gronk plan. Just have him run little out patterns and stuff like that. All right, barely watchables. We have 5 barely watchables this week. First one, Tennessee at home again. Oh no, they were in Miami this week. I'm sorry, at home for the first time, hosting the not impressive at all Houston Texans. I don't know why I didn't put this in the. Should this have been a poop fecta game? I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there's no line on it because they don't know what Mariota's availability is. But I'm not excited about this game.
Can we demote this to the poop fecta?
Yeah, sure. I think we could do that.
All right, so it's a quadruple poop fecta this year.
Saints, I think, again, this is a Sal overreaction of week 1, but I think the Titans are a last place team. I think we're going to see a lot of this all year long.
Yeah, we've cautioned each other not to overreact, but it does seem like there's week 1 game every year where just bad stuff happens and the team never recovers. And that game had a lot of bad juju when Delaney Walker, not only gets hurt, but the guys from the other team are running over to tap his helmet as he's getting carted off. It's a bad sign considering he was by far their best receiver.
Right.
All right. Next.
Also, is there a way to not have week 1 in Tampa, Miami, Tennessee, all that,
we said this last week. What are the odds? There was lightning for 3 hours in Miami. I can't believe it. Early September. Wow.
Yeah.
What a shocker.
And I feel like when we were younger and we drive to a game, they'd never call a game because of lightning, right? Like they would just, certainly not like, well, this storm is 40 minutes away, so we're going to wait. They certainly wouldn't do anything like that. But, I mean, I guess it would be the NFL's luck that some cheerleader gets struck in the middle of a routine. But, it's just strange that these Tennessee College was lightninged out 2 weeks in a row, and then Tennessee Pro Team today.
I wonder, how do you think Goodell would handle a Titans cheerleader getting electrocuted by lightning? How do you think he would handle it next week? She doesn't die. She's okay. She's going to have a full recovery. What does Goodell do?
So everybody would play, and he'd donate like $25,000 to some cheerleading fund.
This would be a fun game every week on the pod. We come up with a terrible scenario and try to guess how Roger Goodell would awkwardly handle it. So that's the one for this week. So you think $25,000 donation?
Yeah, but he would think he was being a hero in that regard.
I think it's a press conference with his $25,000 donation, and then 24 hours later, there's an E60 story about how the Titans cheerleaders have been severely underpaid for the last 6 years, and it all somehow backfires, and the NFL looks bad in the end, and it becomes a whole scandal. That would be very Goodellish.
Yeah, it seems perfect.
Saints at home. We'll see whether this was a terrible omen for their season or just like a throwaway game in week 1. The Bucs disaster. Home again, playing the Browns. So the Saints had the Bucs in round 1 and the Browns, or week 1 and the Browns in week 2. Had all the makings of 2-0. And now it's like a borderline must-win game to have to beat Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield, whoever's going to play. I have the Saints by 8.5.
Wow, you got that. I thought this was going to be way high. I said 10, and it's only 8. And please stop me from putting everything I have on the Saints this week, right? I mean, I do look at it as a must-win, and then they are going to win. It's just it's going to be a blowout, isn't it?
Here's my only hesitation, and I say this fully knowing that Hugh Jackson is the coach and Tyrod Taylor is the QB. The Browns have good players. Like Myles Garrett was one of the 3 best players I watched today. I thought he was Myles Garrett. I thought he was a wrecking ball.
So Myles Garrett, yeah, sure he is. He's great, but he screwed them in this game because on that interception return in overtime, that would have put him down to like the 7-yard line.
Yeah, the block.
Instead, they had to move back because of the hold. That push in the back that guy with the ball was taking his step out of bounds. Like he was, not only was the guy who pushed in the back never going to catch him, but the guy stepped out of bounds. Like it was the highest paid guy on the field made the stupidest play. It was really weird to me, but no, I do like watching him.
Well, other than the stupidest play of the game, I thought he was really good. I really enjoyed watching him. But yeah, I mean, like Jarvis Landry gets open and makes third down catches, and you just kind of get. I like Nick Chubb. I thought Nick Chubb would look really promising, and when they were bringing him in, and then on defense they have guys. I don't know. They have more guys than usual, is what I noticed as I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
But
could this be the game? Because I thought they would be 0-2. All right, they could probably be 0-1-1 after this. Do you put Baker in then, or can you even get in the mind of Hugh Jackson?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I would have put Baker in for the overtime because Tyrod was bad. Right. I just felt like at some point you just got to cut the cord. I would start Baker this week. I think Baker's better. And if he's not better today, he'll be better in 3 weeks. Right. This does make me think, though, with the Saints, who is the 0-2 team? So they would obviously have to lose again next week. That then spawns the whole, what's going on with these guys? What's wrong? Because I think the Saints are in that mix for that Monday conversation a week from now.
Saints are in it. Could be the Falcons. We haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
Chargers. Chargers for sure.
And then I think that's it. Those are the three.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't say that about the Seahawks, Giants, or Cowboys, probably.
No, unless the Rams lose tomorrow, which they won't. But that would be the only other.
Right.
That'd be the only other one I would do. All right, Redskins at home playing the Colts. I will say I have a couple Redskins fans in my life, and the hair on their arms have raised. They're very focused right now. They are looking at a wide open NFC East, and they had a dominant performance today against a terrible team, but still, they have a very competent quarterback who has a high winning percentage, and they're starting to get ideas. And they play the Colts, who were not that impressive at all, to say the least today. I have the Redskins by 4.
You have 4. I have 3.5. Damn, it's 5.5. So you win that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very high. And I will say, joining us right now, Andrew the Giant Luck. You will be traveling to the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, facing Jonathan Allen, Ziggy Hood, and the Washington Redskins defense. What are your thoughts?
First of all, incredible to be back. Just great to be out there again with the guys. And, obviously the game didn't go our way, but it was just so nice to be out there doing my thing again. And we have high hopes. We have high hopes for this season.
That's Andrew the Giant Luck, September 16th, Mid-Hudson Civic Center. There you go.
49ers at home playing the Detroit Lions, who we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Niners by 2.5. I had no idea what to do with this game.
Oh, man, you boxed me out again. I said 2, and it's 3.5 as of now.
Ooh, that's high. I didn't think the Niners looked good today. I didn't think it was hard to say how much of that was the Vikings, but I certainly wouldn't say, oh man, there's a foundation here for a playoff team. That was not my reaction to that game. If anything, it was like you said, it could have been a lot worse.
Marquise Goodwin's out. I just think if Sam Darnold throws 2 interceptions and the Lions win by 17, then this could be closer to a pick 'em than anything, right?
Well, here's another line that could swing dramatically. Broncos, Raiders, Broncos home. You and I both think the Raiders are going to be horrific. They're going to take a beating for the Khalil Mack trade all day tonight and all Monday as well. I only could get this up to Broncos -5. I think this gets to 7 by game time.
Oh, man. See, you're getting this because I only thought it would be 3, not knowing tomorrow's result or Monday's result. It's 4.5 right there in the Vegas zone for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if the Raiders are bad, that just goes to 7. Let's take one more break. We'll do the rest. Hey, people always ask me for advice. Usually it's what team to bet on this week. This week I would have done half decent for you. The truth is, I don't always know who's going to win, but if you think you know, you got to check out MyBookie. I always tell people to bet with MyBookie. They are your best bet this season. They've been in business for years. They have great reviews online. Their mobile site is easy to use, not to mention in-game live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business. For you fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. They even did recently, they did odds for our fantasy league, Kyle.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
What did it
we were
look
plus
like?
500.
All those people that laughed at me.
Mallory's team was plus 200. I was offended, my bookie. How do you not have us as the favorite? We have Mahomes and Phil Rivers. Lay down some cash. Win big today. You win. They pay. Join now. My bookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. Use the promo code Bill Simmons when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. That is MyBookie, MyBookie. Don't forget to use the promo code Bill Simmons when creating your account to claim the bonus. You play. You win. You get paid. All right, 6 games left. The watchables. These are good. Well, you thought Steelers Chiefs should have been a marquee game.
I think so. I get what you're saying. If Bell's in there, it's a marquee game. But I don't know. They're my top 2 seeds in the AFC, I think. Or no, I'm sorry, the Patriots in there. Top 3, 2 of the top 3.
I have the Steelers. I'm assuming Bell isn't playing. I have the Steelers only as 2.5-point favorites against Mahomes and the Chiefs.
I had 4.5, and it's up to 5 right now.
Ooh,
I get that.
I've been dead on this whole day. So if I'm 3 points off, that's a good sign to go the other way.
You're right. We're big Chiefs fans. Is that a tease the other way? We rarely do this. Do we take the plus 11?
I think I just like betting the points again. I liked having that 3.5 against the Chargers. They're up like 17-12. I was doing the math. I'm like, oh, I'm already up 2 scores. I think the Chiefs are good. The one way the Steelers can get them is if they outscore them. Not to sound like a moron, but like to go 30 points or more, basically, because I think the Chiefs are going to get their points. And
I can't remember if they played last year, and obviously it's a different situation, but the playoff game, it was a night game. The Chiefs were home and lost, right?
They've had, I just have a vague memory of a lot of weird games between these two specific teams. I don't know why, but I think this is going to have to be one of those Roethlisberger throws for 320 and 4 TDs type of games. And I don't know if he has it in him yet. Falcons,
maybe.
Falcons home for the Panthers. We haven't talked about the Falcons yet.
No.
We swore not to overreact to week 1, and yet there were the Falcons just running it back and doing all the same dumb shit they did last year that blew the whole
it wasn't
season.
week 1. It was week 22 last year.
It really was.
It was 18 of last year.
Yeah, it was like a continuation. And I think all of us are just tired of them at this point. Matt Ryan looks terrible. Again, I don't want to
stumbled onto something. I don't know if you were kidding, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like we should go by that could be another weekly thing. I wouldn't be surprised if so-and-so had some kind of shoulder injury. Like Matt Ryan's my guy for that right now.
Oh, like he had a snowboarding accident?
Yeah, something's messed up. You brought it up. I think you tweeted about it.
Yeah, I did.
And then,
he looked hurt. He looked hurt before he threw the interception.
Yeah, but their play calling is just dismal. It's just, Julio Jones gets him down the field, and then they give him the cold shoulder inside the 10-yard line. Ridiculous.
It's weird that they don't do nearly as much play action as you think they would do. Because I think their running backs are scary, and it just seems like that was kind of their game 2 years ago, and now it's a lot more predictable, especially around the red zone. They're playing the Panthers. They're in Atlanta. NFC South, they play twice a year. Weird shit always happens. I couldn't go higher than 4 on this. I have Falcons by 4.
Yeah, you got it. Just getting me, edging me out of there. I said 3.5, and it's 5.
So your team played the Panthers today. What'd you think?
Both of them looked flat. They really did. And the Panthers didn't need to. It was actually typical Panthers too, right? Like that's the team that gets on the field. You're like, all right, Cam could put up 30 points. He's got some weapons here. And they couldn't really move the ball either. And like I said, the Cowboys didn't play with any urgency until the end. But Kuechly is such a difference. Like I feel like he's on the field half the time, not just because defense is on the field half the time. When he's on, you could see like this shit doesn't happen in the middle offensively. You can't get anything going, but he gets hurt like 4 times a game. They live and die with that guy defensively.
Yeah, what happened? Did he get concussed? What happened that one time when it seemed like he was really hurt?
I don't know. Yeah, he was grabbing his head, so
it
could be another concussion. I don't know how many more he has in him. I'm going to say one more should be it.
I'm going to say one more, and then he should retire, or they're doing a disservice to all that stuff. Yeah, they had that happened, and then somebody else got hurt for them, and it was one of those games where you got the 2 point.
Yeah, Williams.
Yeah, you got the 2 point. It was 16-8. And I ended up not betting on the Panthers. I think if I had done Super Contest, they would have been one of my picks. And it had all the makings of the Cowboys with a minute left, score the touchdown to cut it to 16-14, but then miss the 2 point because you have Jason Garrett as your coach, but you cover. And I was already mentally down that road, and somehow the Panthers won and covered in 16-8 final. I was mad at this garbage time cover that hadn't happened yet and how Jason Garrett was then going to blow it. But it didn't happen. I don't think the Cowboys are good. I didn't think they were good heading into the season. I didn't understand the respect they were getting, and I still don't understand it. I just don't think it's a good team, and you root for them, and I don't think you disagree.
Well, I don't disagree, and I think it's like I think Jason Garrett makes your team 20% worse, and if you're at 65% to start, that's not good. You run the math on that. But, and on top of it all, they get, all right, the most dynamic player they picked up in the offseason is Tavon Austin. There's no way Jason Garrett knows what to do with that guy. I'm sorry. I just know he's on the wrong team, and that guy, he'll walk off week 4. You'll see.
Yeah, they'll probably trade him. Last one, Eagles at Tampa. I have the Eagles by 3. That's probably too low.
We're going to split this. It's 3.5. I said 4. Yeah, it's still probably too low. I don't know.
I have a confession to make. I think I remember this every year, and I get mad at myself that I didn't remember it earlier. Are we sure Fitzpatrick's like not terrible?
No.
Like he's kind of half decent.
We were dumb.
We do
dumb
this
to bet
every year.
Against him.
Yeah, we
really were stupid to bet against.
We do this every year. He's like kind of half decent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could make the case.
Yeah, and also it's
like
early in the year, It's like he probably doesn't have the stamina to go a 16-game slate, but he could do a little damage in September, right?
He was like the 7th best quarterback in the history of the Jets.
Yeah.
But he makes plays. He's unafraid and does have a way like galvanizing his teammates. Like there's no question when you watch the sidelines and the interaction and stuff, like the teammates like him and they're rooting for him. And the rub is that he makes dumb throws every once in a while, but he does make shit happen. Like it's not like Kaiser Soso walking into that Packers game today where you're just like, oh my God, they have no chance. Fitzpatrick's kind of dangerous. Like, rooting against them was 48-40. They had to get a first down. It was 3rd and 11. I just needed the Saints to get a stop. And I was kind of afraid of Fitzpatrick. I really was. I felt like he was going to make a play, and then he did. And it's like, man, maybe this guy's not awful.
Maybe there's something to the fact that an Ivy League mind has like 6 weeks to prepare for one team. And you don't figure that in. But then come November, he's still an Ivy League player's body that you have to adjust the line for.
So maybe they should just play him 3 times a year, like in week 1, week 7, and week 13. And they just know you win those 3 games.
Here's the footage. Here's 100 hours of footage. Break it down. Yeah.
Well, if they somehow win this game, and it's very conceivable because the Eagles, especially offensively, look just slow and like they're a few weeks away from getting to where they need to get to. You could make a case, just waive Jameis, get rid of him.
It's funny. I was looking at this game and I was like, oh, the Eagles are catching the Bucs at a good time. I said that this time last week. I was looking at that and I'm like, wow, the Bucs are catching the Eagles at a good time, right?
Yeah.
This is right when you want them. But yeah, Jameis, talk about the big loser. It was definitely Jameis Winston today, right?
Yeah. I made a joke about him being the face of the XFL next year on Twitter. But, if you feel like there's no difference between those two guys and you feel like we're at the point of no return with Jameis as a character guy who's going to be the leader of your team and be in the community and shit like that, you can make a case, just move on or trade him or dump him, trade him somewhere for a 6th round pick or something. But I personally, I would cut bait with that dude at this point.
It's just weird that we're so low on Jameis and Mariota. Not too many years after they were drafted.
Yeah, Mariota still had that playoff game.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
He at least made it happen. All right, Sunday night.
I need both of these to tie you.
Well, your first one is the Cowboys of Dallas are home against Eli Manning, Saquon Barkley, and the New York Football Giants. I really wanted to nudge this to 5. It's definitely in the Vegas zone. I'm going to say Cowboys by 4.5.
All right, good. I get this one. I said 4, only 3.5. And I'm surprised too, because Dallas usually gets a little bit of a bump from Vegas.
You might not be good.
Yeah, no. Now, we talked about last place. Are you ready to sign off on any last place division? You don't want to say Arizona yet. I will say Arizona.
I'm not ready.
Buffalo.
I'm not ready. You can't tell me that the Niners couldn't finish last in that division.
And I'll say the loser of this game, I think, is in last place.
You like making dramatic guarantees.
Yeah,
2 weeks into the season.
Well, I just pray that by the end of the year, no one remembers them. So what do I have to lose?
My only dramatic guarantee is that Buffalo is not a playoff team. What were the odds on them to make the playoffs? I actually have this. I'm going to look this up.
To make it, was it 6 plus 600 plus 650 or something?
Oh, no, you're right. It was minus 800 for them not to make it.
Yeah.
That's still too low. What were we doing?
They should update those odds. We don't see those again, do we?
No, they don't
After
like
week
those.
1.
They don't want us to ever see those again.
All right, I need this one to tie.
Monday night, Mitch Trubisky and the Bears hosting the Seahawks of Seattle. And the greatest punter of all time since Ray Guy, Michael Dixon, the most exciting punter. I was actually rooting on Seattle not to convert third down so Dixon could come back out. I really wanted to see him in Mile High. I was genuinely enjoying it as a football fan.
You like him better than our Dixon, even, I think.
There's no question. And Dixon and I have had a renaissance. Dixon's like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is who he thinks he is.
That's true. Yeah.
He's like, you know
what?
Well,
maybe we'll have to find out what Ryan Fitzpatrick's thoughts on Les Moonves are. Compare notes.
And Dixon had some thoughts on that. Dixon will be like, I'm going to Martha's Vineyard for 10 straight weeks.
Yeah.
And if you need me to negotiate stuff, it's going to be dicey, but I'll try.
Right.
And that he is who he is. He is who we thought he was. I have the Bears minus 4 over the Seahawks.
Yes. I eked out a tie. I said 2.5 and it's currently 3.
Oh, you're the Hugh Jackson of the win.
That's
score.
right.
Eked out a tie. Congratulations. And you're
Get
eked
the
out
Gator.
tie.
Oh no. I don't know what they're doing.
I got to say, I think that line's too low.
I'm excited for that game now. I really couldn't care less about it like 6 hours ago, but even though they lost, I still 2-0-1 teams.
You know who's not good?
Fun.
You know who's not good? The Seahawks.
Yeah.
That story that came out in SI about Pete Carroll favored Russell Wilson and the defense, and it turned the team against him, and there was so much bitterness and such a big divide and all that stuff. And I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, like, why wouldn't he favor the franchise quarterback over a bunch of crazy guys on defense who are all getting on in age and probably aren't going to be there 2 to 3 years from now? Isn't it the smart political move to back the quarterback? And also, why
probably
aren't you trying to protect the confidence of your quarterback?
Yeah,
and making sure that all of these outspoken dudes who are trying to bully him and get in his head, who are on his own team, that you're trying to protect that a little bit. I don't know. I think one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life from coming out of a team that they actually seem to genuinely believe is that they called that pass play for Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl so that he'd have a better chance of winning the MVP than Marshawn Lynch.
Who said that?
That was in those articles. They were like convinced that it was all about like trying to get the Golden Boy, the MVP. Like the Seahawks defense really believed that. And it was like, go look at the sideline. The Seahawks sideline is in chaos. They had no fucking idea what to do. And Belichick's on the other sideline watching.
No better excuse. I haven't heard that, and I don't know why. So yeah, that might as well be it. I don't know why they would do that.
Belichick was on the other sideline, should have called a timeout and didn't because it was so mass chaos over on the other side. It wasn't like they were in a heated argument about who should win the MVP. That was just moronic. I think the guys on that defense, I just think they got too crazy. They won that one Super Bowl, but you can pass this tipping point. We've seen this happen with other teams. It happened in basketball a couple of times, like the mid 2000s Pistons. They had a lot of like strong personality characters in their team, and you can only kind of ride that for so long. It just gets stale, and
Yeah.
Gets kind of
Well, who's the greatest of all time? The 86 Bears? The 85 Bears?
Yeah, that didn't last long.
February 86, yeah. You know, they only made it back. They only made it that one time, right?
Well, congrats to you and Hugh Jackson for eking out ties this week. You guys can pour half a Gatorade
bath.
Yeah, take half a Gatorade bucket. Let's do Parent Corner, America's favorite segment.
Oh, yeah.
Still no sponsor. You go first. I have a good one this week.
All right. I have two. I'll do this one. So my son, he's 4 years old, and he started soccer this weekend.
Yes, I saw the pictures. I was hoping this would be Parent Corner.
Yeah. So he's I'm going to say this. He loves playing basketball. We have a Nerf hoop at the house, and he's always like watching TV. He like throws the ball. He's taking shots while he's watching like Boss Baby or whatever he's watching, but he's always taking shots. I was like, that's great. He loves playing Little League Baseball. He started this year. He was one of the better hitters on the team. If we go to the beach, he has to bring a wiffle ball and a wiffle ball bat. He gets it. He connects there. So we figured he'd be decent at soccer. What do you do as a 4-year-old? There's no goalie. You have the ball, you kick it, and you run down the field.
Well, he's built a little bit like my son. Like he's just like kind of a block of granite.
Yeah. A little husky guy. Yeah. So I thought everything was going to be good. He gets there, and I see him like lining up like as a field goal kicker for kicks. He's kicking and he's falling on his ass backwards. I'm like, Harrison, what are you doing? He's like, I'm kicking the ball. He's getting mad at me for coaching. I was like, all right. So this goes on the whole game. Now, because he's falling, like, have you ever seen 4-year-olds play soccer?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of spacing. Not spacing. So they run in a herd. And if you fall, you're in trouble. And he fell 3 times. He got stepped on his arm, on his ankle, and on his face. And I'm not like, and I'm not like you could see the cleat marks. And they were legit every time. So he's crying. And then I feel like the a-hole father has to go on the field and lift him up. I'm like, no, you're not coming out. Just keep playing. 6 minutes left. We could do this. Get in there. And he hates it. He doesn't like it. He keeps falling and getting hurt. And to make it worse, his 10-year-old brother, who hates him, they hate each other, is calling him out anytime he would almost touch the ball with his hand. He's like, he touched the ball with his hand. He's like telling the ref coach, he's paddling on him. Like, all right, can you get control of yourself here? This is not the way it's going to be every week. And then the other team has a kid who's good. I think the other team had like a 6-year-old on there, and he's scoring like every 2 minutes. So it's like 7-1. And it occurred to me, Harrison, my kid's crying, and he like wants to walk off the field. And it occurred to me, oh yeah, because on his iPad, any game he plays, if he's losing even 1-0, whatever it is, he'll just turn it off. He'll restart it.
Yeah.
You can't do that in life, right?
No.
So soccer is not his sport. And you know what? Then I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about you and your daughter. I was like, you know what? I'm glad soccer's not his sport. I don't want him on a club team. I don't want to give up my Sunday and go to travel 6 hours to some uninhabitable part of California and waste a day. So there you go.
You're a big winner. So you went.
That's right. I'm a quitter. He's a quitter.
Your family went 0 for 3 with soccer. You missed it
we
completely.
Did. We did. Yeah.
I had 2 different experiences with that because my daughter, who we always could tell from like jungle gym days was going to be a good athlete. And we put her in soccer and she was immediately one of the best ones. And it was like, in those games, there's always that one kid on each team that's just, you can just tell. And she was the kid on that team. And it was great. It's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And then when my son went to play soccer, it was the opposite. He was completely selfish, would get mad if somebody else on his own team scored, and it was a disaster. And he lasted 1 game and he quit. And we have the one picture of him in the jersey, and that's the only record of him ever playing soccer. So
wow.
I've had both sides of it. Speaking of my son, so I get this text from my wife on Friday. Call me. And I'm in the middle of a meeting. I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, it's about Ben. And I think something terrible's happened. So I'm like, I'm in a meeting. Can I call you back? And she's like, it's not a bad thing. Actually, just FaceTime him.
Oh.
So now I'm like, what the hell possibly could have happened? Like the only really things that have happened in his life is like he made a travel baseball team. So he already made the team. I didn't know what else. It's not like his life's that interesting. I didn't know what else could have happened. So I FaceTime him and he tells me he broke up with his girlfriend. Their torrid 9-month affair is no longer. this.
Now he is how old? The people who don't know.
He turns 11 in November.
Okay.
And has had this.
Is he broken up by? Is he all?
So
distraught,
they've been on dates. They've had like 4 dates where my wife took him, and she really likes this girl's mom. And they would go, and the 2 kids would go to the movies, and they would go drink wine next door. And they like really liked everybody. And it was like one of those things where it was like these 2 like each other. Like this could be it. They might actually get married. Like who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
Ben's second day in school, his friend who also has a girlfriend in class breaks up with that girl. And like 2 hours later, Ben breaks up with his. And it's so on FaceTime was telling me everybody's single now. Like, it's like 5th grade's going to be a party. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You sound like a lunatic. You're 10. And was all fired up. And then, so when I got home, I got the full story, which is that this other guy, his buddy Lucci, also broke up. And Lucci. So, so we were calling him George all weekend because it was like the Seinfeld episode where Jerry breaks up, but George stayed, and then George has to get married, and we're saying he didn't want to be George. So he was all excited that I'm too young to have a girlfriend, doing that whole thing. And then they texted all weekend, and who the hell knows? They're probably back together by the time.
Oh, he might be back.
People, I don't know. This just runs in my family because you have nephew Kyle over here, who is now he's back on, and it might be my wife, might be the blood on her side. It's just like these on again, off again relationships.
She's calling me right now.
Yeah, Kyle's girlfriend's calling him right now, wondering where the hell he is. But I'm
wondering if like Ben, probably thought like, maybe he's got a little Lenny Dykstra in him. He's on the traveling baseball team. He's like, I don't want to be tied down.
Maybe
and
he's looking older. I don't know. So anyway, the moral of the story is he's a lunatic, and I don't know what to tell you. And
that's the moral of the story. I love it.
my wife's like, call me. Like I really thought something awful had happened, and it was my 10-year-old son broke up with his girlfriend. They're 10.
That's excellent.
So yeah, that's my parent corner for this week. It's really getting exciting in the Simmons house.
Nice. I can't believe no one will sponsor this.
Yeah, how can they not sponsor that? 10-year-old love. And the 2 moms are texting each other all weekend because they're devastated.
Oh, really?
They're like, we should still go. We'll still go out. We don't need the kids. It's turned into that. They're more upset than the kids are. So anyway, good run, 9-month run, long relationship. And then also today he saw nephew Kyle and taunted nephew Kyle about how he broke up with his girlfriend, but Kyle wouldn't. That was actual taunt.
So does Kyle feel pressure, or does he just blow it off?
No, Kyle beat the hell out of him. He threw him in the pool. He's not going to take crap from Ben. Ben's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, but he's got about 8 months before he could not beat the hell out of him. Right?
No, they're definitely back together. I refuse to believe this breakup stands, and she's probably going to dump him 20 times.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the fact that there's a feud with your 10-year-old son and your 4-year-old son?
I don't know if we should. It's bad. I mean, my 10-year-old is not, it's our fault. He was not meant to be a middle child. And there's a big gap between them. And, he just doesn't understand. Like, you can't tell him, like, your brother's 4. Like, why are you getting upset? He's like, he doesn't ever learn anything. Yeah, because he's 4. Like,
right.
We can't make any progress with that. But, they did not like each other at all.
Should you have a loser leave town match with them?
Unfortunately, I'm the loser because I don't know how to handle it.
Maybe you should leave town. Have a match and the loser leaves town and you're the loser and you'll just leave.
By the way, he doesn't even want to lose. He just wants to leave town anyway. I told you, he wants to live with Ken and Harry.
Yeah, that's true. You got to update us on that during the season. I do think there is something about the kids not learning how to lose thing is an issue because, like my son was playing, he learned how to play WWE, whatever the 2K game. He would play 2 players, but he would be in control of both controllers. So he's just playing against this person who's not there and beating the hell out of the other person. I'm like, how is this good? How are you? I'm learning how to do moves. But you're not competing. Like you're not learning how to win and lose. I don't know. Maybe this.
Yeah, I don't like my son will play Madden on the Madden mobile, and like he'll play against the Steelers, let's say, and Roethlisberger throws, and you see Brown open in the end zone, and it's like a race to restart the game before Antonio Brown catches it because he doesn't want to go down 7-0. I was like, no, you're going to play this out. You're going to lose. But that's only when I'm around. So I know they're shutting it off. And then, this is how it rears its ugly head in real life.
That's a benefit for Fortnite because in Fortnite, you can't quit. You get killed and then your game's over.
Oh,
there's no way.
Good.
There's no way to really rally from that. Sal, big day for you. Monday, 4:30, FS1. Lock it in. It's happening.
It's me. It's Rachel Bonetta. It's Clay Travis. It is Todd Furman. We're going to be making picks. We're going to be making bets. We're going to be playing games. David Arquette is our guest. There's a lot going on.
David Arquette, the former WCW champion, David Arquette?
Yes, that's right. And it's live. What could go wrong?
It's live?
It's live, like 4-second delay live. Yeah.
Oh, so there's enough time for somebody to press something?
I guess so, but 4 seconds.
What's the number one thing we can look forward to tomorrow?
Just a fat man that looks a lot like me sweating for an hour, probably.
Okay. Sounds great.
That's about it.
Good luck. Good luck with the new show.
Thank you, buddy. Against All Odds Wednesday, the Degenerate Trifecta and I and Tate, we'll have picks. We'll have college and pro. By the way, the Parlay Kid bet as a future, no ties this year. So it was a good 3 hours for him.
He bet no ties?
No ties was like plus 240, and he loved it. It was over before it started.
Can I make an Against All Odds request?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would love Harry's take on the U.S. Open Women's Final.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about that.
No, we didn't.
That was amazing.
We didn't.
That was amazing.
I felt really bad for Osaka.
She beat the crap out of her and didn't get her due, right?
It didn't feel as bad for Serena.
No. I felt bad for the guy in the chair, too. And he's still up there. He refuses to come down. He's scared for his life.
In Serena's defense, she didn't realize the coach was coaching. But the coach did coach.
What is that rule? What is it? She looked over?
Yeah, and the coach was repeatedly gesturing for her to come up to the net more. And the umpire saw it, and he gave her a warning. And then,
so what do? You can't make eye contact, or you can? What's being coached? I don't understand.
Well, if the coach is telling her, you got to get to the net more,
Oh, he can't even say it.
You can't say anything.
You can't hear him say it.
So that was a warning, and that spiraled it all out of control. But
right.
I just thought she would have lost anyway. I thought it was Osaka's day. She was just had the eye of the tiger. It was awesome.
Yep.
Weird day. But anyway, I want Harris' take because I know it'll be.
All right, I'm going to ask Harry
it'll be one for the ages. And Brad's, if you can get Brad's too. I would like if you can publish Brad's. All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, buddy. Good job by you.
Good job by you. All right, thanks so much to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to go to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Thanks to the Ringer Podcast Network and especially the Rewatchables tomorrow, Rounders. Only on the Rewatchables. Me and Sean Fennessy, we put a lot of time into this one. 20th anniversary this week. We are very excited about that. We're very excited to do this podcast. If you like this movie, believe me, it is the all-time deep dive on Rounders. Check it out. Thanks to Simply Safe. Simply Safe goes on beyond what home security should be. Its intuitive design influences every step of securing your home, like installation. Simply Safe ships right to your door, ready to go, never stops, because Simply Safe's built-in backups protect you through power failures, Wi-Fi outages, even baseball bats. All for just $14.99 a month. Order today and you'll get free shipping and free returns. Start your risk-free 60-day trial at simplysafe.com/BS. Once again, simplysafe.com/BS. That is Simply Safe with 2 I's. We have a couple more fun podcasts coming up this week, including Katie Nolan, who we taped on Friday, and then who hung out with us and played Twitch on our Ringer Twitch on Friday. It was fun. We played Fortnite together for an hour. We did not do that well, and I left her to die multiple times. Sorry, Katie. But that's coming up on Wednesday. We have some other guests. A lot of good guests this month. A lot of good guests and a lot of sports to talk about as well. The BS Podcast coming back 2 more times this week, at least. Until then.